USC wide receiver Jacoby Lane could provide the New Orleans Saints another three-level threat in the middle of the NFL draft.
You are Locked On Saints, your daily New Orleans Saints podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is good, Who Dat Nation and Who Dat family? I'm your host, your friend, Ross Jackson, and we're continuing today our scouting report series, taking a look at USC wide receiver Jacoby Lane. We'll take a look at why the contested catch piece to his game is a little bit overvalued, but we'll also take a look at all of the great things that he could bring a team that looks to invest in him in the middle of the NFL draft. So let's get into it. We know that the New Orleans Saints are likely to be in the market for a wide receiver going into the NFL draft, maybe before, maybe after as well. But a guy like Jacoby Lane is proof positive that the Saints don't necessarily have to reach for a wide receiver in the first round if that's not where the player makes sense. Jacoby Lane, just 21 years old, won't turn 22 until August. 6'4", 200 pounds, has 10.5-inch hands, and you can certainly see that with some of the highlight grabs that he's put up with the USC Trojans over the years. Ran a 4.47 40-yard dash, added a 40-inch vertical leap, a 10-foot 9-inch broad jump. So you know he's got speed, he's got size, and he's got explosiveness. At 200 pounds, a little bit light on the frame, but with the 6'4" frame, easily can put on some mass and put on some muscle to help out in those areas of the game. But when it comes to creating separation late, when it comes to utilizing late hands, when it comes to having a go up and get it mentality, this is a player that can win big. And I think would be somebody that would immediately step in and give you another red zone threat, and then could grow and develop from there. That's sort of what happened during his time over at USC. He had 12 touchdown receptions back in 2024, where he was utilized a little bit more specifically. But then in 2025, when his game expanded a little bit, he was utilized across the field. He brought in more receptions and more receiving yards behind Mekhi Lemon, but dropped down to 4 touchdown receptions. But again, his role grew quite a bit one way or another, and you can see that in the overall production pieces, receptions, like the volume pieces, right? Receptions as well as yards. He was the second leading receiver right there behind Mekhi Lemon, who had over 1,000 receiving yards and double-digit touchdowns. He's aggressive as all get out when it comes to attacking the ball mid-air. Is not somebody that's going to wait for the ball to come to him. He's going to go and attack it, high point it, and then do his best to bring the football down. He does have at least a strong frame upon which you could add some more mass, makes him a little bit of a player who you can kind of reach a higher ceiling with from a physicality standpoint. Big time catch radius as well to erase some inaccurate passes. And trust me, at USC, he saw a lot of inaccurate passes. It's one of the reasons why the contested catch stuff gets a little bit overvalued for his game, but we'll get to that in a little bit. But he has some highlight grabs on his tape on some inaccurate passes, including some one-hand twisting snags, great body control in the air as well. And he's a pretty smooth route runner that adds some nuance throughout the 2025 season. Was a little bit more effective using head fakes, was a little bit more effective selling routes and selling in breaks when he was taking an out break or pushing vertical up until he needed to make his break. Got better at not giving things away in 2025. And I think that's one of the things that helped him take his game up to the next level. His use of late hands as well helped him make some of those tough catches because he wasn't rushing to get to, rushing to get his hands up or anything like that. And because he typically goes up to go and try to attack the football, if his hands are up, he's already moving toward the football, which makes it a little bit challenging for defensive backs to be able to hang with him in that category. At 6'4", 200 pounds, and running in that 4.4 range, he kind of reminds me of Devon Vele that's already on the Saints roster. But again, I don't think that having players of familiar or similar skill sets is a bad thing for any NFL team. And especially right now, the Saints have a long list of wide receivers on their roster, headlined, of course, by Chris Olave and Devon Vele, the two starting wide receivers. Chris Olave, of course, the guy that you're hoping will be the top wide receiver for this franchise for years to come. We'll see if an extension finally gets done at some point this offseason between the team and the wideout. But then you also have Devon Vele, who the Saints traded for before the season, also has that 6'4", 6'5" frame, also has that 200+ pound frame, and moves a lot more fluidly than people expect a receiver to move at that size. But then behind him, you got a lot of guys that missed the entirety of the 2025 season with injuries, such as Trey Palmer, Jalen Polk, and Bub Means. And then after that, you have a bunch of other guys that at best constitute potential and question marks, right? So adding to the wide receiver room is a must for this New Orleans Saints team if they want to start punctuating that room with exclamation points as opposed to question marks. And Jacoby Lane makes some exclamation point type plays out there on the football field. Coming up next, a lot of people talk about him as a big-time contested catch player, turning 50-50 balls into more like 70-30 balls. But I think that that's an element of his game that's a little bit overvalued, both for positive and not so positive reasons. Let's get to that next as we continue on with today's episode of Locked On Saints, part of Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Today's episode of Locked On Saints is brought to you by friends over at FanDuel, the best place to go to get in on all the college basketball action, and especially right now with the college basketball parlay profit boost that they're giving you over at FanDuel.com. I love a college basketball parlay because you can pick a bunch of favorites, put them all together, and then increase your winnings that way. Then with that profit boost, you get even more potential to match all the energy of college basketball. I'm going to be rolling with the Blue Blood parlay money line this weekend. Kansas over Carolina Baptist, Kentucky over Santa Clara later today, the North Carolina Tar Heels over VCU. That's the one I'm a little bit worried about, but we'll see. And then Villanova over Utah State. So going for all the Blue Bloods in this one. Let's see how it pans out. You can get in on this and much more over at FanDuel.com today. Head over to FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com. FanDuel, play your game. What if sports were traded like markets? Well, now you can put your sports IQ to work in real time with Robinhood prediction markets. It's not you against the house. It's you participating in a live market. You can buy or sell your positions all game long and use your sports knowledge in the moments that matter. Robinhood prediction markets is changing the game. It's people moving the action. So when the momentum shifts, you can move with it. I always knew the game, but never had a dynamic way to apply that knowledge. But now I can actually take part live in a market powered by people. You're no longer just a spectator. Play by play, you decide. Trade every play with Robinhood. Now available across the US. Download the Robinhood app to begin now. Futures and cleared swaps trading involves significant risk and may not be appropriate for everyone. Event contracts are offered by Robinhood Derivatives LLC, a registered futures commission merchant and swaps firm. It's time for the 5-hour energy flavor draft with 18 different flavors to choose from, including new options like confetti craze, fruity rainbow, cotton candy. There's simply something for everyone. Now that the board is set and I'm on the board with the number one overall selection, I'm going to go with cherry, one of my favorites that I absolutely love and consistently go back to, along with blue raspberry. Cherry is a really good one for me. I like tart, I like sour and all that. So you get a little bit of that, but of course you get that boost of 5-hour energy with zero sugar as well. I'll give you my sleeper pick as well. Rhymes with cherry. How about berry? It's familiar, but it's not too easy to recognize kind of profile. So something you'll be used to, but a little something new and extra for you as well, which is my favorite thing about 5-hour energy. I love the convenience and of course the fantastic flavors. So go and find your favorite flavor, 5-hour energy shots. They're available online right now at 5hourenergy.com and on Amazon. Let's get it, Who Dat Nation. The thing that Jacoby Lane is most often noted for is probably not the thing that's worth noting him for. Let me explain. There's a lot of conversation around Jacoby Lane because he's 6'4", 200 pounds, of him being a 50-50 ball guy. And a lot of comments around him that, you know, are of the ilk of like, he turns 50-50 balls into anything but, right? In terms of giving himself higher odds and all those other things. Here's where I think that's a little bit overvalued. First of all, contested catches going into the league, not typically something that translates. Secondly, I think his game is a little bit more expansive than just what he does in jump ball situations. We highlighted the speed, the nuances that he's added to his route running capabilities, which shows you he could add even more. And he's a guy that can be a 3-level threat, short, intermediate, and deep. Not a big yards after catch guy, but that's okay. You can find that talent somewhere else, where I think the Saints absolutely need to find that talent. Don't get me wrong, but this isn't the player that you go to because you want yards after catch production, right? That's a Zachariah Branch. That's possibly a Mekhi Lemon. That's a Skylar Bell out of UConn. Like, there are those other wideouts that can bring that to you. When it comes to this idea of him being better than a 50-50 ball receiver, the thing that makes that so challenging is that when you look at his career contested catch percentage, it's literally 49%. He is quite literally a 50-50 ball receiver. But here's why I think that that can be overvalued a bit, right? First of all, I think that it's being overinflated in terms of how effective he was throughout his collegiate years when it comes to that. But also, he was dealing with a lot of inaccurate passes going his way, and oftentimes turned into a defender in those situations. And so for me, the thing that I think is really interesting in watching his tape is not just that he is a player that can go up and potentially make those catches, but that he has the wherewithal to go out there and make sure that the opposing defender doesn't. And that's something that I really like, because that is a level of competitiveness that does translate to the next level. We talk about this all the time here on the show. You can be the contested catch guy. You can be the yards after catch guy. You can be whatever you want in college. The thing that we know translates the most from college to the pros are competitiveness, attitude, demeanor, play style. Those are the things that translate from college to the pros. The thing that I like about Jacoby Lane's game is not that he will necessarily go up there and win 50-50 balls to the point where they're 80-20 balls, but I like the fact that he will make sure you don't win, even if it means that he doesn't. He'll go up there and protect the team. He'll go up there and keep the ball in the hands of the offense, or at least on a third down, get the ball back to the punt unit so that they can, or get the ball back to the field goal unit so they can try to put points on the board, get the ball back to the punt unit so that they can try to control the field position a little bit. Those are the things that I like about his game. I love seeing him go up there and knock a pass down. And I also love going up there and seeing him win on a 50-50 opportunity. And he's done a bit of both. But I don't know that he's somebody that's necessarily should be just completely celebrated only for being a contested catch, jump ball, 50-50 ball guy. I think there's a lot more to his game that's left to still be unlocked, right? So there's still some of that. And then there's the other piece of it, right? I would say he's got range in terms of what it is that he could bring to a team. He can, yes, be that contested catch guy, but he can also make some tough catches for you when it comes to, slant routes and running sort of these quick hitches and things like that to be able to go out there and try to get some of those short yardage situations, right? Can run those slants, all those other things, but also can make some tough catches in the middle of the field that potentially turn some of those 2nd and 5s into first downs, things like that. And so those are the other elements that I think are very much worth paying attention to or looking at when it comes to his game in particular. A couple of other things, seeing the touchdown decline from 12 in 2024 to 4 in 2025 is obviously something that scouts are going to have questions about, so something to watch out for there. Can get rerouted a little bit by more physical defenders at the line of scrimmage, and so that's why maybe adding that mass a little bit and helping him bulk up a little bit at the next level will help him out quite a bit, because he has a want to be physical. He has a desire to be a physical player. And so if you're able to kind of help him out there in terms of developing there, that's where I think you can maybe get kind of your next level of play from him in a big way. But look, this is a guy that's expected to go in the 3rd or 4th round, bottom of day 2, early day 3 at the latest. And so if you don't take a wide receiver in the 1st round, somebody doesn't fall to you in the 2nd round, or if you're looking to double up at wide receiver, right? Let's say you get a Zachariah Branch or a Chris Bell in the 2nd round, and you go, okay, got the yards after catch guy, I want another big bodied catch radius guy. Jacoby Lane would be a perfect opportunity or a perfect option for you to take a look at. So I do think he's got a really interesting game. He was a Senior Bowl guy as well. And So because of that, obviously, is going to be on the Saints' radar, somebody that's going to be high on the Saints' radar. They like the guys that go and compete in those situations. And so I think that that's something that might help set him apart as well. So Jacoby Lane, definitely a name to watch out for and learn a little bit more about here throughout the pre-draft process as the NFL draft gets closer. All right, we appreciate you very much. As always, make this a part of your day, part of your routine for saying yes to me in the show. If you see me, please say hi. And if you need anything else around your New Orleans Saints in between these episodes, make sure you follow me on your favorite social media at Ross Jackson, NOLA. Hit me up. Let me know the family's doing, how you living. Let me know how your mom and them. And trust Who Dat Nation. I'll holla at you.